Hello, what's going on everyone? It's Alistair Bullock back again with another weekly catch-up of all the latest motoring and motorsport news. So earlier in the week, Aston Martin released some brand new images of a car they had already released, but these are slightly more realistic, and that is of the Aston Martin DBS GT Zagato. This car is being made to celebrate the centenary year of Zagato, the Italian design house. Now, I'm a huge fan of what Aston Martin and Zagato do as a whole together. Their cars they bring out look absolutely fantastic. I've been a fan ever since the V12 Zagato came out quite a few years ago now, but this DBS GT, based on the DBS Superleggera, is going to be a fantastic car. Now, they're only going to be making 19 of these cars, and all 19 are only able to be purchased alongside the DB4 GT Zagato continuation model. It's a long name, but it makes sense. But you can only buy that car if you buy the other car, and together they will cost you £6 million plus local taxes depending on where they're being purchased. As I just mentioned, the DBS GT Zagato is based on the DBS Superleggera from Aston Martin, and it's literally just going to be the same car underneath. There's not going to be any change to the way the car runs with the engine, the transmission, the suspension, all of that. That all will stay stock. They might tweak it slightly, but there's no new components. The main thing is just a new fantastic looking body on top, which has the iconic Zagato double bubble kind of roofline, and also the now kind of well-known front grille that the Zagatos have that have the Z cut into them. Moving swiftly on now and over to VW, they have released that they will no longer be making the VW Beetle as we know it, but at the moment there's no plans to change it at all, and it won't be produced anymore. They've stopped taking pre-orders for them, and I think the final production run will finish either later this year or early next. With a car so steeped in history, it's a shame to see it go. I'm not a massive fan of the car itself, but it was always nice to see a car that had been around for that long, especially with the fact that it had been brought out and kind of designed during a very, very dark time in the world of the human race. But now it's being known and more famously known for peace and love in the 60s, and that's kind of a nice transition to see how the Beetle has changed throughout the years. It's a shame to see it go, but I'm not necessarily going to miss it that much, but it's a shame as a whole in terms of the history of motor cars in general. Sticking with VW, there have been some spy shots of the new 2020 Volkswagen Golf GTI blasting around the green hell, aka the Nürburgring. Originally, this was supposed to have a hybrid engine, but they have now changed their minds and they're going to stick with an updated version of the 2-litre petrol that is currently in the current Mark 7 model. Continuing with this slightly updated engine, the whole car will be just ever so slightly updated from the current model. It's not going to be a major overhaul in terms of interior and exterior. It will be subtle upgrades that you've seen in the likes of the other Volkswagen Audi group lineup. It's not going to be anything radical, but still quite cool that they're bringing out a new one. Moving back to Aston Martin now, and this is the first time that we've been able to see the new Aston Martin Valkyrie hypercar do a public run. We saw it run around the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit because it has been the British Grand Prix this past weekend. It appears as there's no new news about the Aston Martin Valkyrie apart from everything that we currently know. The only cool thing is the fact that this has been the first public test at the Silverstone Grand Prix. To me, it seems okay. I mean, I suppose it makes sense to release it at the Silverstone Grand Prix because of the Red Bull ties, but still, I would have thought it would have been quite cool to do it a week earlier at Goodwood Festival of Speed. I think they would have kind of brought the house down, really, with the fact that there's no other crazy hypercar releases apart from the Di Tommaso last week. So why not bring out your Aston Martin and do a public run there? Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen the race. Quickly turn the volume down because I am about to say who has just won the Grand Prix. So the British Grand Prix this past weekend, number of cool little updates or news headlines that can come from this weekend, and the fact that one of them is this is Hamilton's 6th win now at the British Grand Prix, and it's the most wins any driver has ever had at the British Grand Prix, beating Jim Clark and Alain Prost, who previously had 5. Hamilton's now gone on to get the 6th win. More brilliant news from this week with Silverstone as well is that Silverstone and F1 have announced that Silverstone will stay on the F1 calendar for the next 5 years, which is awesome because it is, of course, the home of motor racing. So 2020 will be the 70th anniversary of the first World Championship event of Formula One, which was held at Silverstone on the 13th of May back in 1950. For me, it's no big surprise that F1 and Silverstone managed to come to a deal in order to keep Silverstone on the F1 calendar, because it is such a big race for F1. It's the most attended Grand Prix out of any Grand Prix in the whole calendar. I think this weekend they had 351,000 people attending, and even just on the Sunday race day they had over 141,000 people. To complement the number of fans that are there as well, you've got to look at the amount of teams in the world of F1 that are based in the UK or have a base in the UK, and that's 7 out of the 10 Formula 1 teams are here in the UK and very close to Silverstone in the Northamptonshire region of the UK. So something else that helped keep Silverstone on the calendar is the fact that Silverstone is investing more money into itself. So they're building a 197 room hotel, Hilton Hotel, just across from the wing, and they plan on having a footbridge going over the track into the centre. Kind of think Yas Marina style, but not as big possibly. Along with that hotel, they also plan on building 60 luxury rental homes with track views and a private clubhouse for the super rich to go and chill. And I mean, there's already a lot of places for the super rich to chill at Silverstone. So is it needed? I don't know, but the fact that they're building more things around the track to try and entice more people to come, I suppose in the long run, that's beneficial. More news in the world of the motorsport, and this is now WEC news, World Endurance Championship news, so I am very happy to talk about this, of course. And that is the fact that SMP Racing will no longer race in LMP1 in the 2019 and 2020 season. SMP Racing founder Boris Rottenberg said that our goal has always been only a victory, and we believe that we have achieved this victory with the highest possible result in the given circumstances. After the final race at Le Mans, we decided that SMP Racing will leave the FIA WEC. Our team will not race in the 19/20 season. It is a shame to see them go, but again, I can understand why they've left and why they decided not to continue. It is a one-horse race in the fact that Toyota will only ever win the championship until the new hypercar rules come out. So that makes sense. I mean, hopefully we can just see some of those drivers maybe being picked up by other teams or going to LMP2 possibly, or even taking a year break and then coming back when the hypercar regulations start. So that has been my top picks of this week's news, guys. Do let me know in the comment section down below if there's something you thought I should have covered, which I didn't. I'd be interested to know. Finally, make sure you are subscribed, because I will be back here same time next week for more news. So until then, I'll see you later.